Socrates' wisdom applied to 12 angry men. If Socrates were alive today, what would he say about the movie 12 Angry Men? In the sacred dance of existence, where the human soul seeks meaning and connection, there are moments of profound introspection that invite us to look beyond the surface into the very heart of truth. The film 12 Angry Men serves as one of these sacred moments, a modern symposium where the jurors' deliberations echo the ancient wisdom of Socrates. It is in this gathering of diverse individuals that we see a reflection of our own struggles for justice, truth, and human dignity. Socrates, that wise sage of Athens, would sit quietly in the jury room, his penetrating gaze observing the unfolding drama as if watching a living dialogue between souls. The deliberations, which begin with a clear and decisive verdict of guilty, evolve into a complex web of questioning, doubt, and discovery. Through the Socratic lens, 12 Angry Men becomes not merely a legal drama, but an exploration of human consciousness, inviting us to ask, how do we find truth? What is justice? And how do we transcend the limitations of our individual biases to reach a greater understanding? The journey of inner transformation, embracing uncertainty. Socrates would remind us that wisdom begins with the recognition of our own ignorance, and this is precisely the starting point of 12 Angry Men. At the outset, the jurors, each representing a facet of human nature, are quick to cast judgment upon the young defendant. 11 jurors, certain of his guilt, reflect the kind of certainty that Socrates questioned throughout his life, but it is the presence of one dissenting voice, juror number 8, that brings Socratic inquiry into the room, challenging the others to embrace doubt and uncertainty. Socrates taught that certainty is often a veil that obscures truth, and in 12 Angry Men, this veil is slowly lifted. Juror number 8 dares to ask, what if we are wrong? With that simple yet profound question, he invites his fellow jurors to embark on a journey not just of legal deliberation, but of inner transformation. This, Socrates would say, is the beginning of wisdom, the willingness to question, to doubt, and to open oneself to the unknown. Each juror must confront their own assumptions, much like Socrates challenged the assumptions of those around him in Athens. The initial vote of 11-1 reflects the comfort of majority opinion, the safety of groupthink, which Socrates himself often stood against. But the jurors soon realized that the pursuit of truth requires them to leave behind their preconceived notions and explore the nuances of the case with fresh eyes. This mirrors the Socratic method, where inquiry is not about arriving at fixed answers, but about deepening one's understanding of the complexities of life. The power of dialogue, a path to collective wisdom. At the heart of 12 Angry Men lies the transformative power of dialogue, something Socrates revered. Through dialogue, Socrates believed individuals could uncover hidden truths, not by force of opinion, but through the gentle unfolding of shared inquiry. This is precisely what happens in the jury room as the men begin to engage in heated but thoughtful discussions, questioning the validity of the evidence, the reliability of witnesses, and ultimately their own biases. Socrates would have seen the jury room as a microcosm of society, where each individual must bring forth their truth while also remaining open to the truths of others. As the jurors speak, listen, and challenge each other, they create a space where collective wisdom can emerge. In a similar fashion, Socrates used dialogue to probe the minds of his interlocutors, believing that through open conversation, the human spirit could move closer to understanding. What makes 12 Angry Men a powerful Socratic dialogue is not the outcome, whether the defendant is guilty or innocent, but the process. Socrates valued the process of inquiry above all, recognizing that the act of questioning itself brought us closer to the essence of truth. In the film, It is through the jurors' willingness to engage in this process that the possibility of justice emerges. As they wrestle with the evidence and their own assumptions, they begin to see the case and indeed each other in a new light. The courage to dissent, Socratic integrity. The courage of juror number 8 to stand alone against the majority mirrors the very essence of Socratic integrity. Socrates himself was a man of dissent, often standing apart from the social norms and political views of his time, questioning the very foundations of Athenian society. In 12 Angry Men, juror number 8 embodies this same courage. He refuses to be swayed by the majority opinion simply because it is the majority. Instead, he remains steadfast in his commitment to justice, even when his stance invites ridicule and opposition. Socrates would remind us that it takes great courage to dissent, especially in the face of overwhelming consensus. But this kind of dissent is not born out of stubbornness or ego. Rather, it emerges from a deep commitment to truth and integrity. Juror number 8 does not claim to know all the answers, but he is unwilling to condemn a man without thorough consideration. This, Socrates would say, is the mark of a true seeker of wisdom, one who is willing to stand in the uncertainty of not knowing, while persistently pursuing what is right. The human cost of prejudice, transcending bias. Socrates often spoke of the soul's struggle to free itself from ignorance and prejudice, and in 12 Angry Men, we witness this struggle in its rawest form. The jurors, each shaped by their own life experiences, bring their biases into the room. Some are influenced by the defendant's background, his poverty, and the fact that he comes from a troubled neighborhood. Others are swayed by their own emotional baggage, projecting personal frustrations and fears onto the case. In his lifetime, Socrates was deeply concerned with the corrupting influence of societal prejudice, warning that it leads not only to personal ignorance, but to collective injustice. Thus, 12 Angry Men poignantly illustrates just how prejudice blinds us to the truth and undermines the very principles of justice. As the jurors confront their biases, they must learn to see beyond the surface of their assumptions and acknowledge the humanity of the accused. This, Socrates would say, is the path to justice, recognizing that true wisdom lies not in seeing others as other, but in seeing them as reflections of ourselves. Through the process of deliberation, the jurors begin to shed their biases, understanding that the pursuit of justice requires a willingness to see beyond appearances. For Socrates, this recognition of the soul's interconnectedness was central to living a just life. The juror's journey is thus not just a quest for legal justice, but a spiritual journey toward recognizing the oneness of all human beings. The unexamined life, a call to self-reflection. Perhaps the greatest lesson Socrates would draw from 12 Angry Men is the importance of self-examination. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," and this film serves as a meditation on that very principle. Each juror, in their own way, is forced to examine their own life, including their beliefs, their judgments, and their values. They must confront the uncomfortable truth that they too are fallible, that their perceptions may be flawed, and that their judgments may be unjust. As the jurors engage in this process of self-examination, they not only move closer to understanding the truth about the case, but they also gain a deeper understanding of themselves. This, Socrates would say, is the essence of the examined life, a life where we are willing to question not only the world around us, but also the very foundations of our own thinking. Through this examination, we not only contribute to a more just society, but also embark on a journey of personal transformation. Conclusion: the ever-evolving dance of justice. In the end, 12 Angry Men is more than a courtroom drama. It is a mirror reflecting the complexities of the human soul and the delicate balance of justice. Through the eyes of Socrates, we see the film not as a simple narrative of guilt or innocence, but as a profound exploration of human nature, dialogue, and the eternal quest for truth. The jurors' deliberations remind us that justice is not a static concept, but an ever-evolving dance that requires courage, compassion, and self-reflection. Socrates would leave us with a final thought, that the pursuit of truth and justice is a journey without end, one that demands our full presence, our willingness to question, and our commitment to empathy and understanding. In this way, 12 Angry Men becomes a timeless reminder that the path to wisdom, justice, and truth is a path worth walking together as one humanity.